وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ قَالُوا لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ قَالُوا رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ فَابْعَثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ بِوَارِقِكُمْ هَٰذِهِ إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَيُّهَا أَزْكَىٰ طَعَامًا فَلْيَأْتِكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهُ وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ وَلَا يُشْعِرَنَّ بِكُمْ أَحَدًا. Suwratul-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 19. This verse is interesting for more reasons than one, and this happens to be the longest ayat of this surah, the longest verse of this chapter. So let's do the first iteration of the translation before we delve into some more details. Wa and ka, like, dhalika, that, and like that. Ba'athnahum, we sent them. And like that we sent them. What it means will not be clear in the first iteration. لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا, so that they would question each other, bainahum, amongst themselves. Qala, he said, qailun is the subject, a speaker said. Minhum, from them, from among them. So, qala qailun minhum, a speaker from among them said. And then the next part is the quotation sentence. Kam labistum, how long have you all remained? Qalu, they said. Labisna, we have remained yawman, a day. Aw, or baza, some yawmin, day. Some of day or some part of day. That means a part of a day. A day or a part of a day. So yawman aw baza yawmin, a day or a part of a day. So they said we have remained a day or a part of a day. Qalu, they said, Rabbukum a'lamu bima labistum. Your Lord knows better about how long you all have remained. Fa ib'asu, so, or then, send ahadakum. Ahadakum is the object. One of you, bi warikikum hazihi, with this silver coin of yours, ila al-Madinati, to the city. Fal yanzur, so he should or so he could, in this case, ayyuha, which of it, yanzur. So fal yanzur, yanzur is look for, so he could. Fal is so should or so could in this case, so that he could, yanzur, look for, ayyuha, which of it, or that which of it. Azka is in the comparative pattern, purer, ta'aman, food, as food. So that he could look for that which of it is pure as food. It is not very free-flowing English, and I'll explain why it is coming out the way it is coming out to be. Fal ya'tikum bi rizqin. Fal is so that, or sorry, fal is so should, or then should, then he should. Ya'tikum, and there is a be over there. So come with, so that is why bring is the connotation bring. So come with means to bring. So that then, then he should bring. Fal ya'tikum bi rizqin, then he should bring to you. The kum is attached pronoun. Ya'tikum, he should, so then he should bring to you all. Bi rizqin, bi is already translated, rizqin, some provision, minhu, from it. Then he should bring to you all some provision from it. Wal yatalattaf, and he should be careful. Wal is and should, and fal is so should, so and he should. Okay. Wa and la is no. We will insert the no at appropriate place. Yush'iranna is sort of, you can say, to make aware. So not to make aware, something like that, because la is there. And yush'iru, ash'ara yush'iru, but it's yushiranna. So double emphasis. Yushiran is a single emphasis, yushiranna is double emphasis. And most importantly, so that is how the most important is coming. And most importantly, let him not make aware, bikum ahadan, bikum about you all, ahadan anyone. So basically, let him not make anyone, ahadan will be translated first, yushiranna ahadan bikum. So like that. Let him not make aware anyone about you all. That doesn't sound proper English. So let him not make anyone aware about you all. So that is how it is coming about. Now, if we have read this now, so what does it even mean? And like that, we send them so that they would question each other amongst themselves. A speaker from among them said, how long you have all remained? They said, we have remained a day or a part of a day. They said, your Lord knows better about how long you all have remained. So then send one of you with the silver coin of yours to the city, so he could look for that which of it is pure as food. Then he should bring to you all some provision from it, and he should be careful. And most importantly, let him not make anyone aware about you all. So okay, we have read this now twice or thrice. Now we'll have to break it down. وَكَذَلِكَ. So one interesting point is, after the word kazalika, we have ba'asnahum. Okay, ba'asnahum, which is derived from ba'asa. Ba'asna is the we form of ba'asa. He and ba'asna is we. Just fa'ala and fa'alna. So this means ba'asa is he sent. To send, right? He sent. So what is it talking about? What is it? And like that, we send. What is it talking about? So basically, the first word, وَكَذَلِكَ, is so profound. This verse is mind-blowing. I mean, I have been saying this mind-blowing word for so many of the verses because all of these verses are indeed so mind-blowing. وَكَذَلِكَ. And just like that, that is, as we had sent them to the multidimensional environment, Basnam, so we send them back to this spatio-temporal world of dimensions, that is three-dimensional space and one-dimensional time. And you will say, hey, this is too much of your imagination, too much of a stretch. Why have the others translated it as awake then? Do they not know? I don't care whether they know or not know. Check out the dictionary of Basa. It means to send. So when you have this understanding and you read it with that understanding, things are very clear. And just like that, that is, as we have sent them to the multidimensional environment referred to in the previous verse, so we send them back. So now it makes sense, from that dimension to this dimension. So we send them back to the spatio-temporal world of dimensions, that is three-dimensional space and one-dimensional time. The reality that we live in, the world, the dimensional world that we live in, that we are exposed to, that we have the faculties to understand, appreciate, and live in. Then, and I will prove this point not from anywhere else, but from this verse itself. This is so interesting. Keep my words, make a note of this point. I'll prove that this is the correct translation from this verse itself. We don't have to go to anywhere else. Right? So after we send them back, li is so that, yatasailu bainahum. Yatasailu, so that, li is so that, yatasailu, they would question each other, minhum. Bainahum, among themselves, between themselves or among themselves, bainahum, so that they would question each other among themselves. So the purpose of making them go back to, of sending them back to the world that we understand, is so that once they're back in the state, in the normal state, they would sort of question each other. Now my question is, when we sleep, if we sleep, right? Because they were not sleeping. That's my stand. That's my clear stand. So when we sleep, even if it's a group of us, and we wake up, okay? Do we even think of questioning each other? Does that conversation even arise? Does such a thought, such a conversation, thought of such a conversation even arise in the minds? No. So that this should happen is a miracle in itself. And Allah says this is the purpose that we send them back to our worldly dimensions, right? so that they would question each other among themselves. So, because this was the purpose, qala qailun, one of those friends, a speaker from among them, qala qailun minhum, from among them, a speaker from among them said, Kam labistum, how long have you all remained? Tarried is also okay, remained is also okay, both are okay actually in this case. But if you read the next few words, tarried, it sounds a bit sort of what should I say, Old English style, and in all the occurrences tarried may not be the most appropriate word, though in this case, in the first occurrence, it is perhaps even better. So that those things we need to keep in mind, because the Arabic, the representation is perfect, but in English we have to struggle, because the Arabic, the sense which it conveys, that is understandable. But in English, sometimes some word and sometimes some other word, some of the synonymous, obviously not a radically different word, sort of makes sense to us. More sense to us. So how long how long have you all remained? So they said, qalu, they said, labisna, the fa'alna pattern, we have remained yawman, a day, or ba'da yawmin, a part of a day. So when they were brought back to this worldly dimensions, from what would appear to them as sleep, but they were not in a state of of sleep, right? They were not asleep. So they thought, okay, maybe we have remained for a day or a part of a day. Now, when can such a thought arise? Maybe they were very tired, they were very fatigued. So perhaps when they sort of dozed off to sleep, not to sleep, they were thinking on those terms, when they sort of entered the cave and then they decided to rest for a while, and how would they even have any knowledge beforehand how much time they would be spending in this? They had no idea, right? So, and maybe after a while they thought that they had woken up from their rest, and they looked around and it seemed it was the same part of the day. So they were wondering, is it have we slept a very little bit? It seems we have slept a lot. It seems, right? I'm not saying they were in a state of sleep. It seems to them we have slept a lot. So, okay, then the thought could arise, okay, maybe then we have slept an entire day, maybe. So that's why the time is, it seems the surrounding seems to be similar. So that is the backdrop of the discussion that they were having. They said we have remained a day or a part of a day. Okay, so the entire day or a part of a day maybe. And then they would have argued amongst themselves, maybe one day is too long. How can we sleep for an entire day, 24 hours? Not possible, right? So maybe a part of a day we have slept little. Maybe we have so fatigued, a little rest have rejuvenated us, something like that. Then, qalu, they said, Rabbukum alamu bima labistum. Your Lord knows better. Bima, in what? So, in what is about what? About what in the sense? About what time duration? So, about how long labistum you all have remained. Next, for ib'asu. Everyone has translated it as, either for can be translated so or then. That is fine. So then, send. Ibasu is the imperative form, the command verb, right? Send ahadakum, one of you, biwarikikum hazhi, with this silver coin of yours, ila al-madinati, to the city. This Medina is not the Medina city in the present day Saudi Arabia we're talking about. Medina means city. And that, the Yathrib, the previous name of Medina, it was renamed to Al-Madina, the city, meaning the city of the Prophet Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a city, to the nearby city where they belong to, right, from where they tried to escape from the clutches of the polytheist oppressive king. So that in that context. So then send one of you with this silver coin of yours to the city. Then what does it say? Then it says, Fal yanzur. Yanzur is to look. Fal is so and should. And he, ya is he. Because that pattern is there. So how do we make sense of it? So he should. But in this case, if we translate it as he could, that sounds more natural in the English language. So that he could, that I put in brackets because that is not there, but then the English sounds better, more natural. So that he could look for ayyuha, which of it. It's a idafa construct, which of it. Azka, pure, purer. It's in the comparative pattern. Ta'man, purer food. We cannot translate as purer food because this is not Mawsuf Sifa. Mawsuf Sifa demands that, this is not noun adjective. It's in the same order as in the English, right? So Mawsuf Sifa demands noun comes first and adjective comes later. So that is why I have translated, look for that, which of it is purer as food. Purer as food, right? So these nuances are there. It may not sound absolutely free-flowing English because the Arabic language has its own mechanisms, English has its own mechanisms. We are trying to restore the manner and the nuances with which some of the things have been conveyed, and we're trying to capture it the way it has been presented. So sometimes the English would not be that free-flowing, but if we force fit it to a free-flowing English, we may lose some of the nuances. I do that many times when it does not lead to loss of any nuance or subtlety. But when it does, then we cannot do that. So many translators translate pure food, that is purest food. That's incorrect. So that he could look for that, which of it is pure as food. So he should not just bring any food, he should bring pure. He should search for pure and search for which of the food options that they have is purer. So in that context, it is being discussed amongst the friends. Fal ya'tikum bi rizqin. Fal, as I said, is so should, and ya is he. So it means so he should, and ya'ti kum bi. So ya'ti is come, bi is in or with, come with. So that means bring. So that is why we have said then he should bring, then he should bring, then he should bring. Kum is that to you all, is attached pronoun to you all. Rizkin, B we have already translated, right? Some provision, minhu, from it. So if you find the food and then what do? Then you should bring to you all some provision from it. And then it says, وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ, and you should be careful. This word happens to be the exact middle word in the entire Quran. So when you have the Musaf in front of you, this word is actually printed with a bigger font. Now, how amazing. This font, this is the exact middle word, and the meaning is وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ, and the meaning is and should. Fal is so should, and ya is he. So wal is and should, and ya is he. And he should be careful. Yatalattaf, and he should be careful. Okay. Now imagine in the context of the Quran, you're reading this. This is the middle word of the entire Quran. This is in Surah Kahf. So it's in addition to the message that occurs with as a part of the story, and he should be careful. It is also a message to us. Hey, anyone who is reading the Quran, he should be careful, right? In reading Surah al-Kahf, in reading the entire Quran. So what profound way, unimaginable method or mode of communication Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used. Unimaginable, and he should be careful. Wala yushironna, and most important, let him. Okay, we cannot. If we break it, it will not get translated. Wala, and no, yushironna, let him make aware, bikum, about you all, ahadan, anyone, and yushiru is yushironna. So double emphasis is there. Yushiran and yushironna, two levels of emphasis. How to capture that? And most importantly, let him not make aware anyone. Let him not make anyone aware about you all. Let them not find you, because they were thinking that okay, the king would have definitely sent people to hunt for us, right? That would have been at the back of their mind. So what is happening over here? And okay, I think I missed this. So no one disagrees. The second of occurrence, this part, in this part, qalu rabbukum alamu bima labistum. After that, when it says fa ib'asu, so send. The same word is used at the beginning. Kazalika ba'asnahum, ba'asa, both are different ba'asa. The exact same word with the same root is mentioned in both the places. Exact same word. Now, those who have translated the beginning, because they think that the friends were sleeping, so they were awakened, and because of that reason they have translated, and like that we awaken them. Let them force fit that awaken translation in the second part as well. And awaken one of you with this silver coin of yours to the city doesn't sound, it sounds absolute rubbish, right? So the word is send, the dictionary meaning is of the word is send, and the word send makes sense in both the places. You do not understand the context, you do not understand what's happening because you don't understand the physics behind it. Sorry to say. If you are not proficient in that, and this verse demands that, you should not be translating. You should not be even attempting to translate this verse. If you're a translator or a scholar, then do justice to the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, don't even attempt doing that. Okay. So what does it mean? And just like that. That is, as we have sent them to the multidimensional environment, so we send them back. Now you're getting the point? To this spatio-temporal world of dimensions, that is three-dimensional space and one-dimensional time, makes perfect sense now because we have the backdrop of information of what we are interpreting and correctly, so that they would question each other. The thought that the purpose, Allah says the purpose to sort of bring them back to this worldly dimensions so that they question each other, that the very thought doesn't occur to us when we are asleep and when we wake up. That also means that they were not asleep and they were not awakened from their sleep, right? So that they would question each other among themselves. A speaker from among them said, "How long how long have you all remained?" And they said, "We have remained a day or a part of a day." They said, "Your Lord knows better how long you all have remained. So then send one of you to this." Okay. Now, the three statements, a speaker said, they said, and they said. And the word used is qalu, which means it's plural. Plural in Arabic requires minimum three. So a speaker said, that's one. They said, that's three. And they said, that's three. So 1 plus 3 plus 3, that's 7. Remember this number in your mind for a while. And after these three statements were said, a speaker from among them said, "How long have you all remained?" They said, "We have remained a day or a part of a day." They said, "Your Lord knows better about how long you all have remained." Then what is happening is, now we know the story. So we know how long they had remained in that state, in the cave. It was a long time. And you know that. I'll not disclose that. We'll disclose when the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discloses in the next few verses. So what is happening is they're feeling hunger now. So one of them cuts them off. Hey, enough of discussions. We're feeling hungry. And why are we feeling hungry? It's a part of a day, or is it a full day? Even then, why are we feeling so hungry? So he says, he stops that conversation. We have counted 7, by the way. And it could be any one of those 7. And he says, for Ibasu. Hey, wait. It seems you're feeling hungry, right? So what should we do? So then send one of you with the silver coin of yours to the city. The silver coin has also been mentioned because that is money. The currency that we use today is not money. That is a deception. Gold, silver, copper, that is the only thing that can be used as money. And if you know chemistry, so how many things we need to know to understand the Quran? I've talked about physics, I'm now talking about chemistry. If you know the periodic table, gold, silver, and copper, they happen to be in the same vertical column. That vertical column is the column for precious metals. So that's the same vertical column we're talking about, right? So they had that. And if Surah Kahf is to serve as a message for us in Akhir Zaman, this thing, these cues are important for us. These strategies are important for us. Have silver coins with you. So then send one of you with the silver coin of yours to the city, so that he could look for that which of it is pure as food. You need to search for food, but that which is pure as food. Then he should bring to you all some provision from it. And he should be careful. Why they should be careful? Because they were actually thinking that it's the same era. A day or a part of a day, that's what they inferred. That's what they estimated. So they think if they move out towards the city, then the king's men or army may catch hold of them. So he's telling them, so he's telling the friend who is supposed to go with that could be anyone. So one of them suggested this, and so any one of the six could be the person being suggested to carry that coin and bring food, and he should be careful. And most importantly, let him not make anyone aware about you all, because they thought all of them will be caught by the king comes to know. So even if he somehow gets caught, then he should be careful. Let him be so. Let him not make anyone aware about you all, about the rest of us. So that is what is being mentioned and discussed. So I've discussed a few things already. I've discussed about physics, I've discussed about chemistry, I've discussed about whatnot, I've discussed about the word yatalataf occurring in this verse and the significance of it. I've discussed so many things. One more thing. How many of the youths were there? Not really an important question, right? That's what the scholars will tell you. And they would tell you that no one knows about that number. Does Allah convey to us that number? That's an important question, isn't it? And if Allah has conveyed that number, and therefore, because Allah has conveyed us that number, therefore we know that, and the others disagree, the others are disagreeing not with us, then they are disagreeing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In which case, do we consider them Muslims? That's a question. We should reflect on that. That's a very important question. Because the construct is in such a way, qala followed by qalu followed by qalu. So 1 plus 3 plus 3, plural form is used. The first is, the singular form is used. Right? 1 plus 3 plus 3, that's 7. And if you think this is the only occurrence in which the 7 is hinted at, no. There is another verse which will follow where the number 7 is hinted at. So there we'll have some more discussions about the same. So very interesting verse. We have the silver coin, we have the dimensions, we have the same word basa being used in 2 different places in this verse itself, and people are translating it differently. Shame to them. Shame to them. If you translate it awaken in the first occurrence, make sense of it in the second occurrence by translating it awaken. And then he should awaken, what is it? So then awaken one of you with this silver coin of yours. They're already having the discussion. There's no question of awakening them from sleep. So that is it. So we'll read it one last time and in a free-flowing, running translation. وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ لِيَتَسَائِلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ قَالُوا لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ قَالُوا رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ فَإِبْعَثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ بِوَارِثِكُمْ هَٰذِهِ إلى المدينة فلينظر أيها أزكى طعما فليأتكم برزق منه وليتلطف ولا يشعرن بكم أحدا. And just like that, that is, as we had sent them to the multidimensional environment, so we sent them back to this spatio-temporal world of dimensions, that is 3-dimensional space and 1-dimensional time, so that they would question each other among themselves. A speaker from among them said, "How long have you all remained?" They said, "We have remained a day or a part of a day." They said, "Our Lord knows better about how long you all have remained. So then send one of you with the silver coin of yours to the city so that he could look for that which of it is purer as food. Then he should bring to you all some provision from it, and he should be careful. And most importantly, let him not make anyone aware about you all." That's it then. A very, very profound